today we are starting out, because of my absence yesterday, with a review from Tuesday's homework, and then we'll go into the review sheets. Tuesday's homework, this was ordering rational numbers. Now, I'm going to start out by saying these were a little difficult. This is 6th grade material. I will say we kind of just need to keep getting used to seeing some numbers in order. So let's start with this. Such as with 1, 2, and 3. I'm really hoping that you can get, obviously, the negatives are smaller than the positives. And then things like, you know that 9.5 is the biggest, and something like -3 7/10 is the smallest. This is kind of the beginnings to this. As your years go on, you know, you'll be tested on some of these harder numbers. -9 is definitely further down the number line than -8. 0.7, you don't even have $1 yet. You only have 70 cents. Okay. Any questions on 1, 2, and 3? Okay, we go to 4, 5, and these for the greater than less than signs. These, I need you to be super careful to first double check negative symbols. Then, some of these you may have had to switch. Like this is -2 or 2/5. That would be 0.4. Okay. You may use a calculator tomorrow if you want. I doubt there's going to be many that you need to, because most of them are going to be just based on something like that, like a half or -1/2, which are pretty easy. Okay. Any questions on those? Okay. Going down to the next one. These may have tricked you. If you didn't do greatest to least, you have them backwards. Now, I'm even going to show you. For me to do it, I even did it on a number line. And then I copied it backwards. So this is my greatest. They wanted greatest first. And then I just copied what was on my number line going backwards. And same thing on that next one. If you need to draw number lines for everything, do it. I don't care, whatever gives you the right answers, okay? This is hard to teach or hard to visualize because I would need to draw number lines that have decimals and fractions, and then it turns out to look all messy. So, okay. But I would hope you know 7.4 is bigger than -7.4, and so on. Is everybody good on that? Okay. Now, the next one. I kind of like this question. The turtle question. It's about him digging and hibernating in the sand. If this one digs 1 5/8 or -1 5/8 feet, and this one digs -1 3/4 feet, I want you to think about it. It's kind of like 0 is ground level. It's where you stand. So it's almost like this, and this looks goofy, but I'm going to turn this number line up and down. So think about it. If this turtle starts at 0 and climbs down in the ground, one turtle goes -1 5/8, and one goes -1 3/4. So you're looking for the turtle that dug the deepest in the earth. So that turtle that dug the deepest was -1 3/4, which was that spotted turtle. Kind of weird, like it's below sea level, but it's really in the ground. It's a weird question. Okay.
That feels weird to me because I was like, -1 5/8 is less. So.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of the way you think. And that's why, I mean, I literally turned my number line up and said, okay, so this guy would have dug the deepest. It's weird. And then like this one. This is kind of more like your test tomorrow. Stuff like a half, 0.75, you know, 2/5 is 0.4, so -1.4. Okay. So is everybody good on those? Okay. Now, I'm going to start with going over the sheet from yesterday with the subs. The one I want to start with is, let me find it. In a moment. There we go. The one with the big coordinate plane on the back. In fact, it looks like this. Okay. Now, this vocabulary you've had since last week. don't forget, you've got the Quizlet website. If you go to Quizlet, type in Amber Willis, no spaces, and then search for integers. Just the word integers. And you can study on Quizlet, just the boring Quizlet website, not Quizlet Live, just the boring Quizlet, if that'll help you, okay? So, an illustration that has an X and Y axis. No, and its number with integers is A. So listen, you're right, you're on there, you're almost there. X and Y, it's a picture. Coordinate plane, yes, coordinate plane. Right there, like you were close.
But that's not on the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Let's see, real quick.
That's why we put quadrant.
Ah, listen, and what it is this is an old study sheet compared to a new one, is all this is. Listen, coordinate plane. So it's just a different definition. A plane in which a horizontal number line and a vertical number line, so the X and the Y, and they intersect. So I like it. I'm glad y'all realize that. I'm going to double check. If it's got that weird definition, I'll go back and do something different. Let me put it that way. Okay, so let's see what number 2 is. Number 2 is blank is a mathematical sentence indicating, that two quantities are not equal. Now listen, not equal, meaning they use the greater than less than sign. And yes, it is an inequality. And your definition, a mathematical sentence indicating that two quantities are not equal. Inequality. Good. Because equality means equal. Yeah. Okay, number 3, blank is the distance from 0. Absolute value. And that's just a little different than the paper, but we've talked about that a bunch. Okay, all the whole numbers, negative numbers, and 0 are considered integers. And I've got that cute picture drawn on the board where integers are listed as negatives, the zeros, the 0, and the whole numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, number 5, the blank is a point of intersection. Origin. It is where the X and Y axis cross. That origin is 0, 0. It is where it originates. Blank is neither positive or negative number. 0. We've talked about that a bunch. That's definitely one we need to know. And then a blank integer, positive integer, is always greater than a negative integer. Good. Okay. Listen, you do have it. I'm going to show it one more time. You should have this vocab list, okay, to also study. But you've also got the Quizlet and now that review sheet we just did. So you should have plenty. Okay. Then, if you know, is it my class or the whole day you're not going to be here? Okay, just wait till Monday then. We'll get it made up next week. Tuesday. Or next week. Okay, now, looking at number 8. Here we go. Which point is located closest to negative 1/4 on the number line? Now, here we go. Right. These are all positives. These are all the negatives. Now, negative 1/4 is C. Because you do not even have a whole negative 1 yet. You have just a chunk. You have 1 out of 4, whatever, slices of pizza. So, if it was 1 1/4, it would be B. Negative 1 1/4, it would be B. But since it's negative 1/4, it is C. Okay, number 9. Which point is located closest to 0.5 or 5/10 on the number line?
C.
That is right. Listen, this is the only positive answer on the whole sheet. It has to be C because positive, that answer's positive. It's the only positive. If you need to use your finger and cover up half the number line, do it. Okay? Now, some of this next section. is easy to miss if you don't do it slowly. Here we go. So letter A. It says circle the comparisons that are true. Now, the absolute value of 5 is 5. Is 5 less than 1/4? No. Okay. Is 12 less than 4? Listen, the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Is 12 less than 4? No. Okay. What is the absolute value of negative 3? 3. So is 3 equal to 3? Yes. And then negative 2 greater than negative 17? Yes. Listen, there were 2 answers. Be careful. We know absolute value means change it to a positive. Be careful. My friends that go too fast on questions will miss that one. Be careful. Okay. On the next one, graphing the points on a number line. I would first number my number line, because if not, you may even put an easy number in the wrong spot. Okay, now graphing them. Here we go. 2 would be there. Negative 5 there. Negative 3.5. I am at negative 3 and some more. Negative 3.5 would be right there. And then 1/2 would be between 0 and 1. Between 0 and 1. I have half a pizza. I don't even have a whole one. Okay, tomorrow I do have to look for little points and dots and, be very specific.
That's going to be frustrating.
It's fun to grade. Let me put it that way. Okay, on the next one, number 12. Now, be very careful on these. The absolute value of negative 2 is 2. Plus 10 is 12. The absolute value of negative 8 is 8. So 15 minus 8 is 7. The absolute value of negative 3 is 3. Plus the 7 is 10. Don't erase it. That's right. 10. Now, on this one, 150 minus 25 is 125. So the absolute value of that is 125. I realize they're the same, but one day in your life, it'll end up mattering. So, okay. Now, flip it over to the back. Here we go. Okay. These are more like tomorrow's test. Ordering least to greatest. The only difference is we might have a number like 1/2 or like 3/4 or something. So here we go. Least to greatest. You should have negative 5, negative 4, 3, 10, and 12. And on number 17, you should have negative 8, negative 5, 0, and 9. Okay, be careful. If it says greatest to least, it's just the opposite. Okay. Everybody good on that? Okay. Next one. Correct signs. Greater than, less than, or equal to. Here we go. 3 is bigger than negative 3. Negative 1 is bigger. 10 is bigger. 5.5 is bigger. Now, hint, hint, big hint. There is one like this tomorrow. What is the absolute value of negative 1/4? 1/4. And this one is negative 1/4. Which one's bigger? 1/4. Your symbol has to be that, because the positive is bigger than the negative. Equal. Then so many kids will tell me it's equal. Hint, hint. Tomorrow there's one like that kind of. Okay. Going into the real world statements. Here we go. If he lost $2, it's negative 2. 7 below 0, negative 7. If you win that much money, positive. Whoops, 500. I'm sorry. And then she gave away 10 learning earning points. Yeah, it can be negative. To me, if it's Miss Curley, it's negative 10. If it's me receiving it, it'd be positive 10. So we would need to explain that a little bit better to get a better answer. Okay? Yeah. Okay, now, here is the part that is new stuff. And the weird part is, this is not exactly totally new. We should be able to do a little bit of this on our own. Miss Ott, right there on my desk. Got it. Okay, so, you're okay. So, number one, this is a coordinate plane. It has the x-axis and the y-axis. Now, 2 hints. When looking at ordered pairs, x is always before y. X is the first number. Y is the second number. So what that means is, yes, you always crawl across the floor before you ever stand up and down. I was telling classes this morning, you could say that you walk across the floor to ever get to a ladder. Think about it. You got to walk to the ladder before you can climb the ladder. Because if you climb the ladder first and then try to start walking, you're going to fall. So, you go across before you ever go up and down. So, when looking at letter A here, when they say to mark and label it, they want you to first graph negative 2 and negative 4. So, first I'm going to go across to negative 2, and then they want me to go down to negative 4. Now, I put a dot there. Notice my point. My point is where the 2 black lines cross. I also, hint, hint, have to put an A there. That is giving that point a name. I have to have a letter. Without the letter, I have to count it wrong. Okay? Now, letter B is going to be negative 2 and 5. Negative 2 and 5 is letter B. Now, I have to grade for if the point is in the right spot, and did you put the right letter? Like if you tell me that's A, it's wrong. Okay. The next thing is distance. How far apart those points are. So, I want you to think about this. There's a couple different ways. And I'm going to write on this thing even though it might make it look a little messy. Look. You can either count boxes. You can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that distance on this first one is 9. Or, hint, hint, how far is it from 0 to 5? 5. How far is it from 0 to 4? 4. So 5 plus 4 is 9. This is like, you can do it both ways. You can count the boxes, and then to kind of double check your work, look at the actual distance from 0. Okay, so let's do the second one. I'm going to do this one in, if I can find a different color, I'll do it in black pen. Letter C is 7 and negative 3. So, I'm going to go over 7, down negative 3, and I'm going to put a C. Okay? The second one is 4 and negative 3. Over 4, down negative 3. That is letter D. So, I have 2 ways I can do this. I can either bounce, which is 1, 2, 3, or I can double check it. How far is it from a 4 to a 7 on the number line? 3 spots. From 4 to 7, even if you're using a number line like that's on the wall, from 4 to 7 is 3 spots. Please double check it when you go to do your distance, because a lot of kids will be off by 1. You'll either have 1 too many, like on that one you'd have a 4, or 1 too few and tell me it's 2. So just double check, okay? Tomorrow, you won't have 2 sets to graph on the same, 2 sets of ordered pairs on the same graph. It'll be 1 set on one picture, on one graph, and 1 set on another graph, which should help. Okay. Is everybody good on that one? Now, let's go through the second one. Okay, and I know a lot of it was review, so I'm going to go a little faster. What? But here's the deal. It is long. I'm not going to try to butter it up and say it wasn't. It was long, but here's the deal. Stuff like these first 5, on like the next one here, 6, that should have been really fast. Okay. Here we go. If you got to, just leave the door cracked. Here we go. Deposited 429 would be plus 429. The next one, highest point in a mountain is above the ground. The height is positive 6,684 feet. 5 degrees below zero, negative 5. Withdrew $56, meaning minus 56. Gain 10 pounds, meaning plus 10. And reduce the price, meaning take it away, $6. Okay, so these are these real life situations. We had a worksheet on this back last Thursday. Okay, the next part. I do wish that they had numbered in between, but I realized why. It would have looked really messy. So, here we go. Let's see. Negative 4 would be right here. Negative 3, I'm going to change colors, would be right next to it, which is kind of hard to see. Then you'd have 9 in between it and 5. Okay? I know it's hard to see it. Okay. Okay, what did I just do wrong and nobody fixed me? Where did I put the dot wrong at? Okay, well, wait a minute. There's negative 2. Negative 3 is that one, so we're good on that one. But what one's wrong?
Nothing.
The 5. Look, the 5 should be right here, and I messed that thing up. That should be a 5. I put it on the wrong side. I probably should put on my reading glasses. Okay, here we go. Negative 5 on this one, I'll try to put it in the right spot, is right here. Negative 4 on this one is right next to it. Negative 8 is down here. And 4 is right here. Okay, and the last one here. 8, 0, negative 7, which is right there, and negative 4. Yes, you have to. I'm in the middle of reviewing for a test. Okay, here we go. Absolute value. Remember, all absolute values are positive. Here we go. This one is the absolute value of negative 105 is 105. Absolute value of 48 is 48. Absolute value of negative 75 is 75. And absolute value of 0 is 0. Kind of silly, but it is. There's an answer for that one. Okay. On the next one, I personally would write out the math problem before I jumped on an answer. But, okay, absolute value of 2 is 2. Absolute value of negative 7 is 7. 7 plus 2, 9. Okay. Negative 12 absolute value is 12. 10. What's 12 minus 10? 2. 30 minus 26 is 4. But the absolute value of 4 is 4. Everybody good so far? Trying to go fast so you're not getting too bored. Here we go. 2 plus 5 is 7. 12 plus 26 is 38, and the absolute value is 38. And then 31 minus 4 is 27. Tomorrow, always check this stuff with a calculator, just in case. Okay, here we go. Check the greater than less than. This shouldn't have been too bad. Let's see. 9 is bigger. 134 is bigger. 9, 22, Now, we're talking absolute values here. This is 15. This is negative 35. 15 is bigger because it's absolute value. Change it to a positive. So this one is 25. This one is 15. So 25 is bigger. Because listen, this is the absolute value of negative 25 is 25. The absolute value of negative 15 is 15. You've got to watch those absolute value signs. Okay, this one. This side's negative 12. This side is the absolute value of negative 10, which is 10. So 10 is bigger than 12. Okay, absolute value of negative 12 is 12. Absolute value of negative 10 is 10. 12 is bigger. And then 5 is bigger. Okay? Okay. Next section. These are more like the test. Here we go. Check your work. You should have negative 12, negative 5, negative 3, 0, 8, 12. You should have negative 6, negative 2, negative 1, and 3 and 4. Okay? Those are a lot like the test. Maybe just throw in a half, like I said earlier. Okay, going to the next part. Greatest to least. Check these. 10, 9, 3. Negative 9, 10, 11. And this one, we got 20 and 18. And negative 14, negative 15, and negative 25. Whew, I'm trying. Okay, now, if you did this section, I'm going to tell you, hint, hint, this is a little difficult. I would hope for you guys, my advanced group, maybe not, but here we go. Least to greatest. Negative 2 1/4. Then, I kind of have to cross them off. Then, that would be negative 0.4. This is negative 0.7. So, negative 0.75. Negative 2/5. Then 1, and then 1 3/5. Okay. Those are tough, I'm not going to lie. Okay. Least to greatest on number 34. Please sit down. Get it together. Here we go. Least to greatest. We should have negative 2 4/5. Then negative 2.4. Then negative 2.25. Then 1/2, and then 0.6. Yep, because that's like the same as 0.5. And now I'm going to go and do this one. The biggest negative would be negative 3.5. Then negative 2.8. Then negative 1 1/4. Then two 5. So 0.25 or 0.3?
0.3. No, 0.25.
0.25. So 1 2/8, and then 1.3. Okay. And listen, if you have those things written down, like you've got the equivalencies, it's easier to do. I'm trying to do it in my head. Okay. Now we're getting to graphing. Please check these. Because like I said, we didn't do much of this, but here we go. Okay. Where are these points? So, negative 2 and 3 is letter T. Negative 1 and negative 4 is letter N. Negative 4 and 4 is letter S. And 0 and 3 is letter C. Okay? So, making sure. I know this wasn't numbered, but positives are always to the right, negatives to the left, and so on. Okay, the next one, let's see. K would be negative 4 and negative 2. L would be 3 and negative 3. M would be 1 and 2. N would be negative 1 and negative 4. A is 0, 0. It's the origin. It is the middle. P is negative 4 and 2. Okay. Yeah, all that went on that, dealt with that graph. Now I'm going to try to graph the next ones. Check where your dots are. Got to be very specific. Here we go. Nothing, don't switch. Here we go. Negative 5 and 2 would be A. 2 and 1 is an I. 1 and negative 3 is a J. Negative 5 and negative 1 is a B. 3 and 3 is a C. Negative 1 and 2 is a K. And 0 and negative 1 is an L. And yes, it can have a dot on the y-axis or the x-axis. Either one. Okay. And on the last part, distance. Listen, I know we just talked about this, but look at my hint and it'll help you. Which two match? Do the x's match or the y's match? The y's, the two 2's, right? Okay, so how far is a negative 5 on a number line from a positive 3? 8 units. Listen, how far is it, if you were to... Let me pull out my worksheet. And I know it's kind of silly, but if you look at a number line, from a negative 5 to a 3, from a negative 5 to a 3, how far apart are those? 8. Okay, so if you need to look back at a graph or you look back at the number line, use it. Okay, which two match here on number 55? 7. So how far is it from negative 8 to a 3? 11. How far? Negative 8 plus 3 is 11. Okay, zeros match on this one. How far is it from 0 to 9? 9. 5's match on this one. How far is it from 1 to 2? 1. 11's match. How far is it from 2 to negative 2? 4. Be careful. And the negative 8's match. So how far is it from a 5 to a 3? 2. Even if you're going backwards, it's not negative 2, it's just 2. Listen, you can look over any of the papers that we've had since we got back from the break. Anything. Any questions? Okay. I'm hoping. One last shot of vocab in case anybody's needing it. $100-point test tomorrow.